are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to greet you this afternoon. My name's Tom Murphy. I'm with Murphy Consulting. We're in the business of internet marketing and Microsoft Access database development, internet marketing including email, events, surveys, promotions, and website design and development. Coming to you today as a Constant Contact Master Certified Authorized Local Expert, which in essence means that I've had training to present this material to you today. And as a matter of fact, I use Constant Contact products on an ongoing basis. So what you see today is what I do in Constant Contact pretty much on a daily basis. Just to make sure that everybody here can hear me and see me, if you would, on your console, there's a hand tool. If you would click the hand tool so I can make sure that you can hear me and see the slide that's on the screen right now, I would appreciate it. I see one hand. And some others as well. I'm going to click back to the previous slide. I'm going to put all the hands down. I'm going to go back to the previous slide. And if you would raise your hand again if you saw me change the slide. Okay, I see a couple of hands up, so I assume that that is working as it should. I appreciate that. My contact information is at the bottom of the slide. If you need to get in touch with me, use any of those methods to do so. At the end of the presentation today, I will send you an email with the slides in it. At the end of it, if you would complete the survey, I certainly would appreciate it. It helps me to improve what we're doing and also gives you access to the slides as well as a recording of this presentation. Don't forget, we're having a cash drawing on March the 31st. Anyone who registered, attends, fills out the survey, and especially if you attend at least 4 of our webinars during this period, February and March, then you're qualified for the drawing on March the 31st for some cash prizes and some stuff from Constant Contact as well. So this is usually our webinars that I do are best practices. That is, they're not Constant Contact specific. Today is an exception. What we'll be looking at today is specifically Constant Contact and how to use the email marketing service provided by Constant Contact. Before I go too far, I know there are probably some people, in fact, I know there are some folks on the call today who are not currently Constant Contact customers. So I'm going to go through what Constant Contact is just briefly. Please, those who are customers, bear with me for a moment. One toolkit, one login. Constant Contact consists of 4 modules: newsletters and announcements, which is what we're going to be looking at today, email marketing, offers and promotions, where you can do couponing and other things, feedback and surveys, online surveys and polling in your email, as well as surveys. And the survey I send you today will be an example of that survey tool. And last but not least, events and registrations, online registration for your events, charge for tickets, print out tickets, excellent reporting, great tool if you do any kind of events. The live presentations that I do, I use this tool to register folks for those events. So again, one toolkit, one login, pretty much all the marketing campaigns that you need all in one place. Can you get similar things in several different places? Of course. Constant Contact puts them all in one place, one interface, just to make it easy. There are 2 levels, and down at the bottom of the slide, 2 tiers of services that Constant Contact offers: email only, which includes newsletters and announcements, and email plus, which includes all of the 4 different kinds of campaigns that I mentioned above. All the packages include 24/7 toll-free American speaking coaching support. If you ever, those who are not customers now, run into somebody who is a customer, ask them about the customer support, because that, to me, is Constant Contact's hallmark service. Part of the service is their 24/7 American speaking coaching support. There are some of you that are on the call today who were customers for Constant Contact prior to April of last year. Some of you are new to Constant Contact since April of last year, including those who I set up a demo account for. The only reason I mention that is because you may see something that you don't recognize. If you were a customer prior to April of last year, this is what you normally will see when you log in. After that time, this is the screen that you normally see when you log in, and this is what we will be using today, which is the latest version of Constant Contact. I do want to make it clear, however, that what you will see today is the same in both versions. Doesn't matter which version that you're using. In fact, although what I'm going to show you today is the newer version, I use the older version just because that's what I started with. So don't get confused by the different versioning that Constant Contact is going through. This is what the editor screen is going to look like when we get to it, to edit the email. So just keep in mind that around the edges may look different, but the guts of what you see today is exactly the same. So, getting started with Constant Contact email marketing. What are we going to do today? We're going to look at a live guided demonstration. We're going to look at the home page, contacts, campaigns, how to create and send an email, and then we're going to take a look at reports and have questions and answers at the end. So if you're ready to get started, then what I'm going to do is go to a browser, and this is not recorded and it's somewhat unscripted, but I think we'll get through it and you'll get to see what's going on with Constant Contact. So I'm going to go to this is a Chrome browser, by the way. I use Chrome. You can use whatever browser that you would like. Internet Explorer is probably not the best option for Constant Contact. You'll get much better results, ease of use if you use Chrome or Firefox. So I'm going to log in, and this message here in the middle is of interest to you because we now have the capability to allow you to do automated emails and send automatic emails to people on their birthdays or on the anniversaries. So that's just a kind of a great thing to use, and we'll look at that as we very briefly as we go in. So I'm going to log in. I've just put in my username and password, and going to log in to Constant Contact. I encourage you to put questions in as we go along. I may or may not see them because of time constraints. I get a message here I'm looking at that says that nobody can, that a person, Lisa, I believe it is, can't hear me. Lisa, if you'll put another message in the chat and let me know if you can or cannot hear me, I would appreciate it. Please raise your hand if you cannot hear me. That would be interesting. Those of you that can hear me, please raise your hand. Good question. Can I get the recording of this afterward? Yes, I will send you a link to the recording so that you'll have that. A couple other people say loud and clear, so we'll continue on. Sorry that others are having some audio difficulties. As long as we've had the internet, it's still not a proven it's a proven technology, but not bug-free. So if you open Constant Contact, again, this is what's called the toolkit version. This is the screen that you will see. I'm going to go through the periphery around the edges and then into the center. Again, at the top, Constant Contact. This is a button that will get you to the notification center where you can find if there are some alerts of some kind, you'll be notified. Help is just that. And also when you click on help, gets you to the displays the 800 number that you can call 24/7 for support. My account is just in fact that. If I click my account, it shows you who you're logged in as. You can view plans, pricing, your account settings, and log out. And right now we're not going to do any of those, but that's where that is. Down the left side, again, we're on the home page or the dashboard, if you will. There is a button or an icon for campaigns. A campaign is, in the context of what we're doing today, an email that you're going to send out. Contact management, reporting, and library. Library includes your documents and any videos or other graphics that you may have uploaded or included in the library, and we'll be looking at that as we go along today. So what we're going to do first, because normally I would not have all of my contacts perhaps loaded into Constant Contact beforehand, my methodology is always to start with contacts. And so I'm going to look at contacts, and then we're going to upload a list of contacts. In fact, it's a list of those, most of those who are attending today. So if we look at contacts, we have our contact management system. It is a CMS. It's a series of records, just like any other CMS that you can get access to. On the left-hand side, you can see contacts. That's contacts, all the individual contacts, and right now I have 197. My production system, I have about 3,000, I think it is. These contacts are divided into a series of lists. Some of those lists or some of the individuals in those lists have tags. And let me talk about tags for just a minute. There's a couple of ways to manage contacts in Constant Contact. You've heard the the term in marketing of list segmentation, dividing your contacts into categories. You can do that in two ways. You can divide those contacts, into multiple lists, which I use that method quite a bit. You can also have one large list and categorize them by adding tags. A tag is simply a word that describes some feature of that particular contact. The tag that I have today for this list that we're going to look at is something that designates those on the list as registrants for this webinar. Now, why would I do that? Well, I may have a really big list and it's categorized in multiple ways, and you can have multiple categories, multiple tags per person. When I go to send my email, then I can narrow the list, filter the list to a smaller list by selecting one or more tags. So that is a way to segment and target market your messages, segmenting your list in that manner. I use both methods. I have a series of lists and I have a series of tags. So I use a combination of the two. Each record, you have a record per person, just like you're seeing now. And you could basically have as many contacts as you want. The pricing for constant contact services is based on the number of contacts you have in your database, not the number of emails that you send out. So the prudent thing to do is to have all of your contacts that you need, but no contacts that you don't need in your database, because the price goes up with the number of contacts. The first breakpoint is 500 at 501, so 0 to 500 is the first level. Second level goes from 501 to 2500. So just keep that in mind relative to contact management. What I'm going to show you is how you can add contacts. You can type one contact, and I'm left clicking on the drop down here, add contacts. You can type in one at a time. You can type in or paste in contacts. You can upload from a file, or you can add from other applications like Gmail, Outlook, so on and so forth. Various ways to get contacts in. The one that I use the most and that most of my customers use the most is uploading from an Excel file. So I'm just going to show you how that's done. So I'm going to click on upload from a file. It's going to ask me to choose a file, and graphically it shows you down here how that works. So I'm going to left click on choose a file. And in a removable disk drive that I have a list called 160322 registrants demo.xlsx, and I'm going to click on that. It shows down here. I'm going to open it. Shows me some records just to make sure that that's there, and the only thing that is in this Excel file is a first name, an email address, and my tag. I have a column in the Excel spreadsheet or workbook called tags. I could have had more than one tag separated by commas, but this is how I designated this. So that's pretty much it. You can have virtually as many fields as you like in your record, and you can call them whatever you want. First name, last name, email, tags, those are pretty much set, and you could do others as well. So it can be a real record management system for you as you go along. So we've chosen the file. That looks like what I wanted it to look like. I go to next. It asks you a question. This Constant Contact is a permission-based email marketing service. So it will ask you the question about whether you have permission to email to these contacts. Now, it may have been specific permission or explicit permission, one of the two, but you've got to read this and make sure that it's right before you continue on. So it now takes me I have my uploaded file. It wants me to assign those names that I have or that I'm going to upload to a particular list. And I could add it to a current list or create a new list. And I'm going to just create a new list just for demonstration purposes, and I'm going to call it 16. I love Windows 10. 160322 registrants 2, whatever name that you might want to call it. So I'm going to create that. It will check it for me, and I could have at this point, if I hadn't added a tag to these particular contacts, I could have added a tag at this time instead of initially. I rather like to do it to begin with. Now it's going to upload my list for me. This may take a few minutes to upload your list, depending on how long the list is, and then it will come back with some results. If you have a really long list, you can always go to Activity and see what the status is of your upload. So it imported 34 contacts. I had already done these before, so it basically updated those contacts. So now I have my contacts in, and I can go down to see in my lists. This is my list. Left click on the list, and you can see all of those that were imported. 34. 34 of you should have gotten an email, or 33 because one bounced from me yesterday. We're going to use that to show some results a little bit later. So now I have my contacts pretty much ready to go. Going to start on creating a campaign. So I click the campaign button. What that does is open a window to show me what campaigns I have already done. There's only 2 that are in here right now that I left. A couple of demo ones. This is the one that I sent yesterday. One thing to note up here at the top, you will get an indication of how many of your emails are open on desktop versus mobile. Very important to keep your thought process on mobile when you're doing anything online, because over half of people read emails on their smartphones, and we'll look at that in a minute. So I got 2 campaigns. I could have different folders and different status of those campaigns. These have been sent. They could be waiting to go out or in draft. And I have several that I have deleted. So these are the campaigns that I have done. We'll talk more about these statistics over here, and I'm not going to go into actions, but you should take a look at that. So we're going to create an email or a campaign. You get to go into creating a campaign. Again, there are several different campaign types depending on what your subscription is with Constant Contact. If it's newsletters and announcements, then about all that you can do right off the bat is send an email. You can do any of the other campaigns on an a la carte basis and pay a one-time usage fee of $50 to use any other campaign one time. which makes sense if you're only going to do something else like registrations once a year. Otherwise, you can do all of them. So all of the different campaign types are shown here: creating poll, collecting donations, growing your Facebook fans, surveys, automating your email. Email automation is an incredibly powerful concept. Create a coupon, collect event registration, send an email. And this is what we're going to do today, of course, is send an email. This process is exactly the same every time you do a campaign. Upload contacts. You can pre-upload images into your library if you want to, but contacts, select a template, edit the template, send them the email. Same process every time. So there are some 450, probably more than that now, templates available for you to use, and they grow. The number grows all the time. And you can just select one to use, and I have one that we're going to use today. You can sort them by putting in some descriptor. I'm going to scroll down through these just briefly. What we're looking for when you're looking for a template is a layout, not a color scheme, because you can change all the colors and fonts and all that kind of stuff, and I'll show you that. So we're kind of looking for something that'll fit what we're doing, just as a basic layout to use. One of the things to note on these, and that's as far as I'm going to go. Like I said, there's lots of them. What we're looking for also is this little symbol in the lower right-hand corner that says it's mobile friendly. I can't think of a reason why you would not want to use a mobile friendly template. Mobile friendly means it can be seen as well on a smartphone as it can on a desktop. So I encourage you to use mobile friendly templates. And we're going to use this one today simply because it's pretty simple, and I can show you editing. So I can preview that. I'm left clicking on preview. Comes up and shows me a preview. It also gives me on the left hand side some other kinds of layouts that are similar that I might rather choose from. But again, I like this one, so we're going to select this and go into the editor. Sometimes our internet is somewhat slow, so please bear with me. So this is the editor. Again, this top bar and the left-hand bar are still the same. The guts contain the editor, and I'll go through what you're looking at here very briefly, but always the first thing that you want to do is to we're going to customize the campaign, is to change this up here, which is to name the email so that you can find it in all of your campaigns. This is not seen by your customers, just by you as a reference. And I always date mine. You can do them ever how that you would like to. 160322 demo email for webinar. Then I hit tab, and that saves that. You can always go back and change this. In fact, even after you sent the email, you can go back and change what you call it if you would like to. So what's in the middle of all of this? Down the left-hand side is a series of items that you can change, colors and fonts. So I can change any of the colors, any of the fonts, in any of the sections of my email that I want to, including borders. there are different blocks that I can change, and all of the emails that's templates are made up of a series of blocks. I put my cursor, and I'm just putting my cursor up here at the top, and it says, oh, this is header options, this is a pre-header, this is a sub-headline, headline, sub-headline, so on and so forth. So all of these blocks are associated with block names, and I can easily add or take out a block, or I can easily add a block to my email, simply drag and drop, and I'll get into that in just a minute. So if I go on down this particular layout here, I see an article. I see an article with an image at the right-hand side. Another article, feature article, button. And then down here at the bottom are footer options. So all of these are editable blocks that the template that you select automatically has, and you can modify. I'm going to just briefly show you how a subheadline got into this particular template. So I look over here for subheadline, which is right up here, and I'm going to put one underneath the picture by left clicking and dragging. It'll show you where it's going to end up, and I let up the left mouse button and it inserts that subheading. I can then edit the subheading, duplicate it or copy it, or I can delete the block. Same for all of the blocks: edit, copy, delete. This symbol, the four arrow-headed symbol, allows you to click and move this particular block anywhere that you want it. I'm just going to move it down here. So easily arrange blocks, drag them up and down wherever you want them. Left click and drag from the list of blocks over here on the left hand side, and easily delete a block. That's as easy and as complicated as it gets. There are more blocks over here than are shown in this particular template that you can use. And we'll just kind of look down through the blocks: pre-header, logo, image, template, image, section, headline, so on and so forth, up and down the page, so that there's lots of different blocks that you can use. And usually what I do when I'm starting to do an email that I haven't done before, I'll sit down and scratch it out on a piece of paper of what kinds of things I want in it, where I want my pictures, so that I can then go in and select the correct one, the correct template, and also what blocks I want to use. So we're going to use this, and I'm going to show you what you can basically do with it. And this is those of you who got a copy of this email that I sent to you yesterday, I'm going to basically duplicate it, but we'll kind of go through this. So up here, we're going to start with the header options. I'm going to left click in header options. It gives me these options that I can use. A subject, again, if you've been to any of my other webinars, very important. So I'm just going to fill in if I could type, subject. I'm not going to put anything in pre-header text because I'm going to fix that in the block. From, very important. I always start with my name. It automatically fills in what I have in my setup. And then I use the other two forms of my company name that people recognize me by. So Tom Murphy, MURCON, Murphy Consulting, Inc., That's how people know me. When they get this email and they see that who it's from, they should recognize me right away. My from email address, I use the same from email address as the reply address, or I could change it. So you send it, get the replies to someone else. I'll come back to permission reminder. I always click web page version so that somebody can click the link. It will open a browser and show the email in a browser instead of, because they may not be able to see the pictures in the one that they get through standard email. Having trouble viewing this email, click here. That opens the web page version. I always click this for social share links, and we'll look at social share links in a minute, which allows people to share your email on their social media networks. You have an opportunity to change these again before you send the email, so I'm just going to leave it like that. I'll get to the questions that have been answered here a little bit later, but so now I have my header done. This is the pre-header. A lot of times this will show up in on a smartphone underneath the subject and who it's from. So it's good to put something up here at the very top that entices people to open your email. I'm left clicking in the block. When I left click in the block, it brings up an editor toolbar, which allows me to do things much like if you're used to using Word or some other word processor, very much the same. I'm going to put some other text in here. What I'm doing is highlighting, just like you do in Word, that text, and I'm going to replace it. Actually, I'm going to backspace and delete it. A lot of times I'll, in a lot of the emails, I'll put click here for important information, and then make the click here a hyperlink, which we'll get into in just a minute. So that's pre-header. Header, all I did was type it in just to show you what you can do with text. I can make it bigger, change the color, change the font. Just that simple, just like word processing, just like word processing. So I can make it bold, so I can highlight something and make it bold, italicize it, underline it, left, right, justify, center, indent, bullet or unordered list, an ordered list. This is a background color, so I can change the background color of, and this, what I'm showing you here goes for any block. Any block, doesn't make any difference. That's a terrible color. That's a better color. I'll show you some more about colors in a minute. This allows you to put in a table just like anything else with rows and columns. And this is a table that works in a mobile friendly environment as well. You can look at the HTML if you'd like and insert a link, and I'll come back to links in a minute. So that's editing a block. I can cancel, save, or my most favorite button is undo. So we're going to save that the way it is and come down to the main part. And again, I can edit this to say whatever that I would like to. Thanks for registering like this one, attending the webinar today. I like it the way it is. Best of business. Email. Whoops. And such as that. So I'll save that. I may want to change some of the colors, and I will in a minute, and we'll do that. So here's a place in this particular template that there is an image, and that's great, except I really don't like that image. So I'm going to change the image, show you how easy it is to change an image. I can go up here to edit the block. What appears here now is a gear tool and a drop down. The drop down says that I can change this image, delete it, add a caption, resize it, pad it, align it, so on and so forth. What I want to do is I want to change it. So what will happen is it will take me out to my library. And my library, or the actually insert image pane, allows me to pick another picture from my library. It can allow me to reference an image that's on the internet that I have the URL to. I can also go to a stock image gallery, and there's a million stock images, if I remember correctly, that you can choose from. Some of them are free, some of them are not free, but all high quality images. Or I can upload a file. And I'm going to upload a file just to show you how simple it is, because that may or may not already be in my library. So I'm going to left click on upload a file, and it will allow me to either browse on my computer to upload it or drag and drop a photo. So I'm going to browse. Again, I'm going to go out to my drive out here and choose this particular graphic, which is this one. That's the correct one. I'm going to upload it, left click. It uploads it, and it will show me that. Click, left click, done, in my library. Now I'm in my library, which has all kinds of graphics in it, of course. I also might have, I don't have any documents in here, although I could have documents as well. I'm going to left click on this graphic and say I want to insert it. It comes back in and inserts it. Now there's one other thing that I want to do to this, because I want to make this a clickable graphic. That is, so that if somebody clicks on it, it takes them to a particular place. I can go back, do a change. I have a place to make it a clickable graphic here. So it'll go to my website if they click on it. I could add a caption if I want to. You always want to have an image description, so that if somebody doesn't see the graphic for some reason, at least they'll know what was supposed to be there, and I can go back and insert it. So now I have my header that I put in there. In this particular demonstration, I only want one article. So I'm going to take out this article. Take out this article. I don't want a feature article. Don't want a button. All I want is a very simple email. And what I want to put in here, and I want to put my picture in here. I don't want this thing here, so I'm going to click on this graphic, change it. I already have my picture in my library. I'm not going to make this one a link, although I could. This is the item description, so if they don't see the graphic, at least they'll know what it was. And insert it. Very simple. So I've replaced the text, replaced the picture, click here to respond. Well, click here, click here. I'd like somebody to click here and open a PDF or something. And I can make this a clickable link simply by highlighting, clicking on Insert Link. Different kinds of links. I can have a link to a web address. I can have a link to an email and a link to an anchor, which is another section within the document. We're going to do a web address, and I'm just going to put my own web address in there, which is MURCON.com. Insert. Now I have a clickable link, and I'll show you how that works in a minute. So that looks good. That's what I want. The other thing that I would like to put in here is a greeting. And all I want in here is their first name, person I'm sending it to, and a comma. And if they don't have their first name, it just says greetings. So I'm going to insert that in here. Not exactly where I wanted it. I'm just editing. So contact first name, and did you like the webinar? Click here to respond. That's great. That's what I wanted. I'm going to save that. Down at the bottom, last piece is footer options. Footer options allowed you to insert a forward this email. So forward the email to a friend, forward this email to a friend. Link, subscription link to if you forward this to somebody else and they could subscribe to my email list, for example. Organization name, all of that is modifiable. You may have an email account you're managing for multiple entities, so you can put that organization name in there or whatever needs to be. So that will appear at the bottom. You might also want to put in some identifying information to tell people who you are, like a signature block. And you can add that in there. Dress it up a little bit. We're going to have put a divider. So I could edit that, of course, and put whatever I wanted to in there. So basically there's my email, but I'd really like to do something with some color to make it maybe a little bit more, use my company colors. So what I'd really like to do is make this background over here that burgundy color so it matches my logo, and I'd like to maybe make this line and this line the color of the background in this graphic. Then it all kind of ties together. So how do I do that? Well, you can either guess at what the color is, or you can use a tool that lets you do that automatically. The one that I use is called, and I'm going to swap out to the desktop here, hopefully. Let's go to do this. And let me see if I can get to it here in just a second. On my desktop, I have a shortcut to ColorCop. ColorCop, you can find at colorcop.net, is a color picker. So I'm going to open ColorCop. ColorCop always sits on top of everything else. And go back to my email. And what I want to do is I want to pick this color out of here to make the background. So I'm going to click on the eyedropper and move it over here, and maybe this color in the middle. Now I have that color, so what do I do with it? Well, again, colors and fonts, backgrounds, you can change any of those here. Outer background color is here. This is the color picker for Constant Contact. I can go to more colors, and it gives me a hex value or the RGB values that I can fill in for the color. ColorCop also gives me the hex value and the RGB colors. I'm going to copy, I'm going to highlight, I'm going to do a Control-C on my keyboard, which copies that number to the clipboard. Do a Control-V, which pastes it in there, and that makes the background color the same. I can do the same kind of thing with this text up here. So I'm going to take the eyedropper and move this over just a little bit. Take the eyedropper, I'm going to pick up this color. Go back to here, I'm going to edit this block. This is the color for the text. Go to more colors, copy the hex color, paste it. Would help if I highlighted this first. Control-V to paste, done, save, go back to here, highlight, more colors, paste, so that's how you can use, and there are a lot of different color pickers. I like ColorCop because it's easy to use, to match colors exactly with your logos or your other coloration that you want to use. So now I have text that's the same color as the inside of the Constant Contact logo. I have a border that matches the colors of my logo, a border that matches the colors of my logo. And now it is more of a customized email that I would want to send. I'm going to minimize color cop. So the thing that I want to do before I send this out, though, as I've pretty much finished creating it, is to look at it and send it to myself. So I click on preview up here at the top. This shows me exactly what it would look like when it arrives in someone's email box. This is what it looks like. I'll point out the share bar here at the top allows people, if I receive this email and I click on the F for Facebook, then I can send a post to everyone in my network with a link in it to this email. You should, at the bottom of all your emails, and I did this one and the other one, is that I sent out yesterday, tell people, use the share bar at the top to share with your networks. They'll do it if you ask them. Obviously, they probably won't if you don't. So ask them to do that. Here's the link. Having trouble viewing this email, if I click here, I will see it in a browser. So if I want to do that, which of course you can always print as well. And over here to the left is a place that I can put in up to 5 email addresses and a note and send it to myself before I send it out. And you can check it to make sure that it looks like you want it to. And look at it on your smartphone. Make sure it looks like you want it to there. This link that we put in here, I can test the link. Where was it supposed to go? It was supposed to go to MURCON.com, my website, and it did. So that works. I always check links because a lot of times you put it in, it's not what you wanted it to be. So that's preview. Always preview and send a copy to yourself before you send it out. You'll save yourself a lot of embarrassment and headaches. So I've done what I want to do. I'm going to save it. I'm going to continue on to the next step, which is scheduling my email to be sent out. This is the scheduling screen. The first thing at the top is to pick what list you want to send it to. You also get a thumbnail. I can go back into edit again if I want to. I can select a list to send to. I can search for the list, or I can just pick it from the list down here below, and it would be this one. I can save that selection. Then I get a drop down right here where it says narrow it down. This allows you to narrow down the list by the tags. I'm just going to do that. Of course, there's only, these are the tags that I have right now. There's only one tag that's in this list, and it's this one. That's the tag that I uploaded with those names. And I can apply that, and it will narrow it down. Of course, they're all the same, so I get the same 34. But that's the way you use a tag to limit the number of recipients. Again, toy was not the word I wanted. It was today, so I can modify that. I can look at these again and make sure that's what I want. We'll come back to simple share in just a minute. Then I can just determine when I want to send it out. So I can send it out at a suggested best time, which may or may not be the best time. And you can look at this link to see why it would be the best time. Send it now, schedule it for later. If you want to schedule it for later, then you can pick a date. And I'm going to schedule this to be sent later. And then I'm going to come back and unschedule it later. But just so you see how that's done. So maybe send it out at noon on the 31st. I can check a box down here and I'll get an email of early results. Early results, who opened it, how many people opened it, how many bounces, and those kinds of things, which we'll look at in just a second. So I can do that, and I can schedule it. Keep in mind, it takes, even if you want to send it now, it takes about 15 minutes for it to go out. So if you all of a sudden say, I don't want to do that, then you can unschedule it and go back. In fact, right here, I could say unschedule. Download it, copy it, print it. Or I'm done. But what I really want to do, and this is really a new feature probably in the last 6 months, I can use Constant Contact to schedule posts to multimedia with a link to this email. So I'm going to click, and again, this is the bottom. It's called Social Sharing. Schedule a post. It sets up a schedule for me, which I can keep or not keep. I'm not going to go into this in detail. If you need some more help with this, call me or call the 800 number. They'll be happy to help you. Very powerful feature. I do one email and then send it out on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn at scheduled times. So it sets up a schedule for me, gives me a calendar. Here's the schedule that it's set up just by default. So this is what it would send out in case you missed it, and a link to this email that I just made up. Right now it's going to Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I can check or uncheck any of those. I can do as many posts as I like to all or one of those social media networks right here in Constant Contact. Very powerful. I can type whatever message. I can get a new suggestion for a message. I can select different pictures. Very powerful. You can't beat it for integration with social media. Right now, just Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. More integrations to come. But those are the big three anyway, so that's how you use social share. I'm not going to schedule those. So I've gone through, I've picked a template, I've edited the template, I've come to scheduling, I've said here's when I want to send it out, here's who I want to send it to. I'm done. The most important thing that you can do once you've sent an email out is to go back and look at the statistics, the results of your emailing. And we're going to go take a look at the results for the email that I sent yesterday. And when you get back to your home page, or now we're back to home page or dashboard, then you can see the results for your last campaign. And this one that I sent yesterday, March the 21st, gives you some capsule information. How many people opened the email, how many I sent it to. First of all, 34. Sorry, clicked on that. How many people opened it? If I had any links in there, how many people clicked on there? The email I sent out yesterday had no links, so get no clicks. Again, gives you your open rate. It also compares it to your normal open rate. Normal open rate, 18%. My open rate on this one, 42%, very good. And it would show you this too. And this is the averages that you see here are industry averages. Industry averages based on what you put in as what industry that you are in. At this point, you can do several options. You can advertise using Constant Contact, your email, copy it, delete it, details, download, preview reports, resend, share, get a short URL for that email to use it in other media, many different things that you can do. If I go to reporting, I can see the statistics for each of my campaigns that I have sent in the past. And I can get some statistics like total sent, opens, clicks, bounces, which could mean several different things, but they didn't get it, and those who unsubscribed from the email. Thank you for not unsubscribing. I appreciate that. Each one of these numbers is a link. So if I wanted to know who opened this, I could find out. And if I had several links in my email, I could determine not only how many were clicked on, but who clicked on that link. Who clicked on what link? Let's say you have 5 different categories of products in your email, which is too many, but let's say 3. Then you can figure out who clicked on which one and then follow up with them on that particular interest. If you're not measuring, and we're measuring here, you're not marketing. Reporting, extremely important. Extremely important. So that is about the long and the short of using Constant Contact for email marketing. I know that was very quick, but again, if you need any help with it, call the 800 number or call me. I would be more than happy to work with you. Just a couple of more points before we conclude today, actually, and go into question and answer. If you're not already a Constant Contact customer, it's really easy to get started. Contact me today to start a paid email account. $20 a month for up to 500 contacts. Email Plus, which gets you all of the services that I mentioned in Constant Contact. $45 a month for up to 500 contacts. And those of you who are already customers, if you're just at the email level and want to use some of the other services, give me a call. I'll tell you how to do that, or you can simply upgrade your account. Plus, if you are not a customer and become a customer today, you'll receive access to a live Constant Contact product videos live, as a matter of fact, that will run on Fridays through April the 1st. You will also, if you're not a new customer and become a new customer today, receive a gift card equal to your first month's subscription, which could be, depending on the number of contacts you have, up to $110. Plus, you'll get a free custom mobile responsive template, usually valued at $99. Those of you who are already customers, if you'd like a custom design mobile responsive template for your company, you can use the link that's shown here, the bit.ly link, and get that for $79. Keep in mind, everything, no contract, 100% money back guaranteed, toll-free American speaking, 24/7 coaching support included. Again, my name is Tom Murphy. I've been your presenter today. I really appreciate you being here. I will send you an email with a link to the survey about this particular presentation and a link in there, in that survey, the last page, to the slides and the recording for today's session. Don't forget the drawing we're going to have on March the 31st. Our next event will be on March the 29th. And since you need more email addresses, more contacts, that one will be how to grow your email list. And you can already register for that if you would like. Again, grow your email list. You can go to tiny.cc/wgrowlist, wgrowlist, tiny.cc/wgrowlist, and register for that seminar, or webinar, excuse me. So at this point, I'm going to open it up to questions, and I see that there are several people who have questions, and I'm just going to start at the top and go down through those. Again, appreciate your attention and your attendance today. Let's go down a little bit. Let me see. I've created and sent out a email campaign. I want to learn how to reuse the campaign template I created to send out the same campaign each month. Jim, there's two ways to do that, and everyone else, you can simply copy the email that you sent the last time and modify it and send it out again. That's a way to do a template. You can also save the email that you sent out the first time as a template. When you do that, it will show up when you go to create a campaign and it shows all the templates. It will show up as a template that you can select and reuse. So very simple to do that. If you need some more assistance with that, give me a call. I'll be happy to help you with that. How many contacts can you have? You can have as many contacts as you want. Again, the pricing is based on the number of contacts. Up to 500 is $20 a month. And before I forget it, if you are a member of a chamber of commerce, or if you are a nonprofit, there are prepayment discounts for 6-month or 12-month prepayments that are substantial. There are also, for those who are don't fall in those categories, there are prepay, 6-month prepay, 12-month prepay discounts for everyone. But members of chambers and nonprofits have some that are quite substantial. Again, call the 800 number and ask them about that, or give me a call. I'll be happy to share that information with you. How short should the pre-header text be? An iPhone cuts text off at about 32 characters. So it can be longer than that, but you want to front load that pre-header information, pre-header text, with the most important words. Same thing about subject lines. About 10 words is about all you're going to get, probably fewer. 32 characters is the best. Why would an email bounce is a question. That's a very good question. A couple of reasons. It's a bad email address, first of all. Secondly, the person that you're sending it to's email box is full, which happens a lot. Third, most prevalent reason is because the receiving email server has, I'll call it blacklist, but that's not normally what it is. Just won't process that particular email address. And by the way, Constant Contact works with all the primary email service, not email service providers, but internet service providers, so that your throughput or delivery rate is significantly higher than a normal internet service provider, but some emails get bounced anyway. You can look at the bounces, and it will tell you, Constant Contact reporting will tell you why it bounced. Then you can take whatever action that you need to fix that particular problem. Other question is, can you do a report that shows who did not open the email? We want to resend emails to people who do not open them. You can go to, short answer is yes. You can create a list as a matter of fact, of those who did not open the email and then send, and I do this often, I send the same email out to the people who did not open it the first time. So the answer to your question, yes, that's pretty simple to do. Again, if you want to know exactly how to do that, give me a call. Call the 800 number. They'll be happy to help you. I'll be happy to help you as well. Any other questions at this time? I really appreciate you coming today. It's been a pleasure. If I can be of help to you, again, you have my contact information. Please give me a call. Text me at that number, because that phone number is a cell number. Send me an email. Any way I can be of help, I'll be happy to. I will try to get back in touch with most of you to, again, say thank you. I will send out that email today to you with the link to the survey. Please do the survey. It helps me immeasurably to know what you think about what I'm doing and how I could make it better. Let me see if there are any other questions before we sign out. How many times should you send a repeat email if unopened? That's a good question. If somebody didn't open your email, and by the way, just because it says that it was not opened doesn't mean that they didn't see it. All these services, including Constant Contact, only record an email is opened if images are opened in that email. If someone has their images turned off, it will not be shown as an open. So I don't have any official counsel on that. I only send it out once. I send it out, and then I send it out again to those who had not opened it, but I wait a couple of days before I do that. Some people don't open their email every hour like I do. I hope that is a reasonable answer. Anyone else have any questions? Again, thanks for your time. I'll stay here another 5 or 10 minutes. If you have any other questions, be happy to answer. Thanks again. Have a great day.